Hi, welcome to Sounds Heavenly. You join me here at Bang and Olufsen of Derby, which is probably one of the biggest B&O showrooms in the UK. And I've got no less than 6 pairs of Bang & Olufsen headphones, ranging from 1978 to the current range, to compare side by side. Which is best? Let's find out. I've been listening to my music on headphones for decades now. I've always wondered whether technology has moved on. I think we need to find out. So let's start with the heavyweights. Going back all the way to 1978, we've got the fantastic U70s. These are really quite strange to wear. You probably see there are little adjusting brackets here, and what you do, the hold brackets, you pull downwards, there we go. The earpieces clip into place around your ears for a more comfortable fit. You can then adjust the size bands accordingly. And you have, for a fairly heavy headphone at 300 grams, really quite a nice, comfortable fit. So let's see how these compare to their great-grandchild, the H9i. Now here we've got a thing of beauty. No problems identifying which earpiece is which. They're clearly marked. Wow, they're comfortable. They're very comfortable. No special adjustment needed. The beautiful soft pads just absolutely cosset your ears. Background noise immediately disappears, which is why I've took these off to talk to you, because my voice just blends away into the background with these cushions in place. The workmanship going from the U70s, which are very, very nicely made in their own right, is such a step up. That is really, really nice. Wow. So certainly round one, fit and finish goes to the H9i's. I must admit the U70s we've got here are a little bit punch drunk. They've lost their initial leatherette pads that would have been over the earpieces, but that affects the way they look, but not the way they feel or sound. So let's have a look again at the next step forward. So rushing forward in time to 1985, we've got the fantastically futuristic Form 1s. These again have suffered a little bit with the ravages of time. Their foam pads have degraded, so these won't look or feel quite as nice as they used to. But in terms again of fit, let's see, the foam pads really would help here, but they're not too bad. They're very much lighter than the U70s. I think literally half the weight at 150 grams. So in terms of wearability, absolutely, these are top notch. Really surprisingly comfortable. Yeah, you could forget that you were wearing those. So very nice. And their modern counterpart is the H4. So quite a large headphone. If we compare that in size to the H9i, outwardly quite similar, but lighter, 244 grams instead of 295 on the H9i. Again, very nice. A little bit more pressure on the ears, but again, and a little bit less background noise cancelling from just the natural fit of the pads, but very, very comfortable. Yeah, that's again a big step up from the Form 1. My gut feel, having not heard them yet, is that the H4s are definitely a step up there. And let's move on to the third set of contenders. So we're going to fast forward now to 1986. Beautiful, delicately formed little Form 2s. which there's quite a bit of pressure on your ears. The small foam pads definitely make themselves felt. But yeah, they hold firmly in place. I must admit, I've owned a pair of these and loved them. I find them great for outdoor use. That little bit of extra pressure on the ears holds them in place. You can be out and about and active, and they don't sort of feel as if that you're going to lose them at any moment. And their modern counterpart is the H8 and the H8i. So we've got smaller ear pads than the H4 and the H9i. But again, very nicely made. Beautiful noise deadening on these. So again, that feeling that you're cosseted in your own little world. Very, very comfortable. I think from the slightly lighter ear pressure, I don't know if I would use these as an active headphone for being out and about, but certainly very nice for while you're wandering about the house. Very, very nice. You could easily forget you were wearing those. Well, that's been a real revelation. I've just spent the morning listening to 6 pairs of headphones that at the time they were produced in their own way were each pretty much the sum total of what could be achieved at the time. It's going to be quite difficult to summarise, really. Let's take each pair in turn. We started out with the originals, B&O's U70, the heavyweights, and then their modern counterpart, the H9 and H9i. The H9, incidentally, is the replacement for the H9i, with various upgrades and the Google Voice Assistant added. And I must say, the U70s are absolutely my favourite of the classic B&O headphone range. Whilst the very strange fitting controls to get them onto your head in comfort takes some getting used to, once you've adjusted them right, wow, these are absolutely modern standards in terms of fit, finish, comfort and sound. They're great, they really are great, and I think these probably played a big part in putting B&O on the map in the 70s in terms of pushing the hi-fi envelope. But then you move to the H9s and wow. I must admit, even though, after years of being in and out of B&O showrooms and trying out products, having owned all sorts of their headphones, I was blown away by just how delicate and articulate the music is through these. The bass goes to a real depth and the treble is just nicely balanced against it. My own preference would probably be for a slightly lighter bass, but that's just, I'm probably not a typical listening customer in that respect. These are absolutely incredible. The fit and the finish, these are proper Bang and Olufsen. These give you the feeling that with the leather and the aluminium and I think this must be a calf skin pad. This is so soft on the earpieces. This is a thing of beauty. It's something to really admire, enjoy and cherish. So as good as the U70s are, I've absolutely got to upgrade. These are top of my Christmas list. So yeah, we've got round 2 of sound quality, very definitely to the H9s. Now moving on a few years, if the U70s and the H9s are the heavyweight contenders, the Form 1s came in at half the weight of the U70s shortly after the U70s were produced. My own view now is that they haven't weathered well. This particular pair is a good case in point. The sound quality bears that out. They've come into this headphone fight rather punch drunk, and yeah, the sound isn't really up to modern standards. They were good at the time. Now they suffer from a lack of bass depth. The drivers, looking at the production inside, fairly lightweight materials. They were good, but they're not a patch on their modern counterparts. So if we take the H8s now, out of the B&O range of current headphones, they're not my personal preference because of the smaller ear pads, but they are still very comfortable. You very quickly forget that you're listening to them and wearing them. They just adapt and float on your head. Very, very nice. In fact, if I put those on now, there's just a feeling of comfort that you get from the best studio headphones, which you never feel on home headphones, and I think B&O have absolutely nailed it with this current range. Now, coming to the final match of the day, the lightweights, the flyweights, I suppose, if we're keeping our boxing analogy. I've owned Form 2s and absolutely love them, and in terms of lightweight headphones, for the size and the weight, these are still really special. They're stylish. Whenever I've worn these out and about, people comment immediately. They don't look ostentatious. You don't feel noticeable from wearing them, but people do spot them and they notice that they're something special. They're classic Bang and Olufsen. They're understated and stylish. And the H4s that replace them, I think really carry that off just as well. A little bit larger, a little bit heavier, but certainly in the dark colours you see here, a very nice style match. Again, these are something that I found I can wear. I mean, I've owned H4s and very quickly adapted to them. And the problem I've had with these in the past when I've worn them with a cable is that I'll be listening to music all day, sat at my desk, I'll get up and wander off, and the cable will pull out because I've forgotten I've got headphones on. You physically just don't feel them after a while. And whilst that's not the best way to deal with headphones, it's probably a good compliment to B&O's designers in terms of the ergonomics. These really are very, very comfortable. In terms of cabling, it is worth mentioning that there's the scope with all of the current range of headphones to quite dramatically improve the way they sound. Now, whilst they'll connect over Bluetooth and they will give you good sound quality, you always get the best sound and the best reliability for your music when you've cabled them. And the supplied cables are okay for the job. But you'll find because all of the current headphone range, in particular the H4s, are very, very low impedance. The amount of resistance to the electrical current in there is very, very low. So these are around about 20 ohms. If you compare to the old U70s at 135 ohms resistance, you're looking at a headphone that is very easy for your phone or portable device to drive with good quality music, but also any resistance in the cable can very easily then add up and take away quite a proportion of the sound. So with a quick measurement here, the standard cable is taking about roughly 2 ohms as loop resistance. So through the neutral wire and then back through one of the signal wires. So for 20 ohm headphones, that means potentially 10% of the electrical energy put in by your phone or amplifier is being absorbed within the cable and not making it to the headphone. To cut a long story short, I've come up with a cable which has very, very small resistance, less than half an ohm. So in a 2 metre length, basically that's giving you back almost all of that 10% loss that the standard cable gives you. So I'll put a link to this in the description of the video, but if you've got H8s, H9s, H8Is, H9Is, H6s, H4s, or any of the current headphone range, then I strongly recommend have a listen on one of these cables and see what you can do when you start to put back that missing information into your music. To summarise the 3 bouts that we've had today with the headphones, I think in the first case, the heavyweights, that's probably the closest of the 3 in terms of sound quality. So the U70s let's be honest, they can't hold a candle to the H9s anymore, but they're still completely capable in their own right, and I could justify to myself still owning a pair of these in 2019. For the middleweights, the H8Is and the Form 1s, well, there's absolutely no contest. In terms of fit, finish, quality, comfort and sound, the H8s have absolutely won this hands down. It's, yeah. I must admit, I wasn't a fan of the Form 1s when they first came out, and that's been reinforced today, unfortunately. They look very nice, but the H8 is the choice there if you want a sort of comfortable but lightweight travelling headphone, but good sound quality. And then at the welterweight end of the scale, H4s and Form 2s, that's quite close, to be honest. The Form 2s still have a lot in their favour. Their minuscule size, the unique styling, and yeah, good, really good sound quality. Still mean they're a contender, but yeah, if you're willing to sacrifice just that little bit of extra heft and a little bit of extra size, then the H4s really do surpass them, particularly the new model that's now out with Google Voice Assistant. I have owned both of these over the years and loved them both, and whilst until today I think my preference was for the Form 2, I'm steering towards the H4s now. The latest version has really upped the game, and yeah, these are, at their price point, something that can compete with the likes of Grado, AKG and Sennheiser as a proper semi-pro but serious home headphone. So I hope you found that helpful. Bang & Olufsen's 40 plus years of headphone experience has really interested me, to just the way that they've approached that same issue of music on the move or personal music in different ways. It's been very interesting to see. If you've had B&O headphones over the years, particularly some of the classic models, then there really isn't a better time to come out and bring those headphones with you to a B&O store and hear just how good the new ones are. Obviously, I'd recommend come and have a listen at Bang & Olufsen of Derby. This is a fantastic place to audition music. So I'd recommend come and have a listen to the headphones and decide for yourself.